Hello, everybody. This is Takeaway, and we're going to talk about the largest player on the planet.
Oh, my dear Lord. Thank you to That's Good Sports for providing this content. Dear Lord,
I've been waiting all game to chit-chat about this particular man, number 21 for the Gators.
This is a guy who squats 720 and benches 520.
The biggest football player on planet Earth, Desmond Watson. We are about to witness history. Florida defensive lineman Desmond Watson could enter the NFL as the heaviest player ever.
What? Are you talking 6'6", 464?
Oh my God, he's a beast!
Gosh, man, that dude can eat some biscuits.
Woo!
Desmond Watson was considered a player who could get a chance on an NFL roster as an undrafted rookie following the upcoming NFL draft. However, after an impressive pro day at Florida, when I reveal his size, you will find it harder to believe than what Deion Sanders said about pleasuring himself.
I don't pleasure myself. I've never in my life pleasured
in your life.
Never in my life.
Okay, Deion.
Wait.
This isn't about Deion.
Deion is lying. I'm never going to believe Deion never pleasured himself. Come on!
He's my witness.
Today you'll learn who Desmond Watson is, how big he is compared to the biggest NFL players ever, and what that might mean for him in the NFL as the heaviest player to ever do it. I'm Brandon Perna. This is That's Good Sports.
I'm from Texas! What's this? This guy's huge!
We just crossed 718,000 subscribers here on That's Good Sports. We're trying to get to 725 by the NFL draft. So please subscribe. And a great way to support this channel is by purchasing My Times the Bills Broke in the 90s, too, because of Newton. Nate Newton seemed to carry the weight pretty well, though. He lasted 13 seasons in the league and made 6 Pro Bowls along the way.
Hey, I remember Nate Newton. Remember the Nate Newton diet?
Yeah.
That dude used to eat gravy fries right before going to bed every night.
Oh, my Lord, you're right.
Oh, God, the Nate Newton diet. I remember
Probably
that.
worth noting, he underwent a vertical gastrectomy, which of course is where they snip your balls and makes it so you can't have kids, which in turn makes you a fitter, better person. Nothing will put on weight like having children. And until Desmond Watson shatters the record, the current heaviest player of all time in league history is Aaron Gibson. The 6'6", 410-pound wall of a man was a first-round draft pick by the Detroit Lions in 1999, and he stunned NFL draft scouts when he ran a 5'3" 40 at the combine that year. Here's a little unknown fact. Any 400-pound man who can reach a 40 speed of 5 flat can literally travel back in time. Now, he was the first player ever officially listed at 400 pounds. Nate Newton made it all the way up to 401 while playing in the NFL, but I'm not sure if he was ever actually listed at 400 pounds.
Every day is a holiday and every meal's a banquet, baby.
He has eaten himself out.
A lesser-known 400-pound player is Terrell Owens, who weighed 403 pounds while playing receiver for the Cowboys. Nope. Okay, I'm kidding. A 403-pound receiver would be the greatest thing we've ever seen in the NFL. Yeah, exactly. And don't you dare say we've already witnessed that with Kelvin Benjamin, okay? That's mean. Terrell Brown is the 400-pound player who almost made it into the league. He was a towering 6'10" and 403 pounds. He ran a 5.77 40, was signed by the Rams in 2013 as an undrafted free agent, but never played due to an undisclosed injury. That should give you an idea about how rare it is to weigh 400 pounds and play in the NFL. There is such a thing as too big, but I am praying hard that
too big.
These guys are big.
Yeah. So Watson is actually, after his pro day at the University of Florida, is now projected to be a day 3 pick. He could get picked 6th or 7th round. Someone might take a flyer on him when he was originally unprojected, but like he comes with a huge warning label.
What's the warning? What's the warning?
The dude has gained weight every year since he's played football.
Yes, I love it.
That dude can reach 500 pounds at the rate he's going.
Hell yes. He needs to go in the second round. That's my opinion. All right, let's watch more.
Desmond Watson bucks the trend and makes a name for himself in the NFL as the biggest player on earth. How hard am I praying for that? Harder than I prayed when I was at my second cousin's wedding and found out that it was going to be a dry reception, and he did get to carry the ball in an actual game against Tulane. If Jerome Bettis was the bus, then Desmond Watson is the mega bus. Which currently has about the same chances at succeeding as the monorail. At his Florida Pro Day, Watson weighed in at 464 pounds. 464!
464.
That's a thick ass boy. Damn.
But at 464, he's a beefy 54 pounds heavier than the NFL's heaviest player ever, Aaron Gibson. Another NFL player,
Wait.
another
Coach,
D.
stop,
Watson,
stop,
Deshaun Watson.
Coach.
Was that?
He's 50 pounds over the heaviest guy ever. And he's still
By a
running
long
for
shot.
5.
Oh,
Weighs
my
220 pounds. Desmond Watson is literally 2 Deshaun Watsons. And the last thing this world needs is 2 D. Watsons. But the Browns have told Desmond if he can eat Deshaun, they will give him the rest of Watson's guaranteed money. Which, of course, would no longer count against the salary cap. Them's the rules.
Unbelievable.
Desmond Watson is from Plant City, Florida, which is obviously hilarious because I'm going to take a wild guess and say he is not a vegetarian. He was also one of 6 children, and when he was born, he was the lightest of the Watson kids. Watson was 375 pounds by his junior year of high school, already bigger than any defensive lineman in the NFL at the time. After he committed to Florida, he was in the 400-pound range. And the Gators wanted to get him back down to 375, but of course he eventually weighed in at a very spry 464 pounds heading into spring camp his final year on campus. Watson once recovered a fumble and looked like he was headed for the end zone. Oh God, a 464-pound touchdown. But he actually got pushed to the ground by Spencer Rattler, who weighed 220 pounds, a full 215 pounds lighter than Watson at the time. That might have been the greatest highlight of Rattler's collegiate career. Watson's most famous clip, though, might be when he flung running back Kenny Walker, who is a normal-sized human, to the ground like he was a small child. But the best...
Ooh, that is so brutal, man.
Ouch. Oh.
Ouch.
And I mean absolute best moment came when A&M running back E.J. Smith saw Watson in his running lane and simply bailed. In football, there's a thing called gap assignments where defensive players are responsible for filling gaps to stop runs. But I have never seen a man simply close a perfectly blocked gap just by standing there like Watson did. I think the most impressive part about Watson is his 25-inch vertical jump. That's truly insane. It might actually defy the laws of gravity as we know it. More proof that gravity, after all, is still just a theory. It's subtle, but when a man his size does jump 25 inches into the air, it can also be measured on the Richter scale. To be clear, 25 inches would still put him at the very lower end of the combine in terms of measurements, but still not the lowest. His fellow Florida defensive tackle Cam Jackson had the shortest vertical jump this year at 24.5 inches, so he's got it feeling pretty bad considering he weighs a full 100. Would have liked to have
Oh, I love this
Watson
kid.
did shine on the bench press at his pro day, putting up 36 reps at 225, which would have been the most at this year's NFL Combine. Knowing that his strength matches his size makes him intriguing for an NFL team to take a flyer on in, say, the 7th round. He squats 720 and benches over 500 pounds. He's captivating as a prospect and space eater if he can prove to stay in NFL shape. He's so big, I'm not even sure what NFL shape is for him. He's currently probably too heavy to play in the NFL at 464 pounds, and what's interesting is that he's put on a lot of weight every single year.
Look at this chart, man.
Coach, you're the man.
This dude right now is like on path for a 600-pound life, man.
Hell yes. And you know what? We need him. The Lions need him.
The Lions can have him, man.
Redskins need him.
Commanders do not need him.
They do. They need a guy that can stand up in the line, put his arms out like this,
dude.
and say, try.
I don't know if we can afford
Go the other way. This guy's huge.
I wonder what a Golden Corral does when they see this dude coming.
Oh,
Since entering college, going from 400 pounds as a freshman, adding on your standard freshman 15 when you learn to, binge drink like a proper adult, and then to 435, 449, and 464.
Oh,
the good news, if he can get into NFL shape, drop, 30 to 40 pounds, he'd still be playing at 425, ensuring he'd be the heaviest player ever by a large margin, which is saying something when we're talking about guys this freaking large. Also, playing defensive line makes playing in the NFL much more feasible than if you were, say, an offensive lineman. The issue, in terms of evaluation, is he didn't play a lot at Florida. He played in every game last season, but only recorded about 283 snaps. He did record 20 combined tackles.
Crazy.
So these stats are not great, man.
I know, but he's a big body. You have to deal with it. Somebody needs to draft this guy.
The guy has 0 sacks, man. 0 sacks. That dude ain't never sacked nobody.
Wants to run against him.
He can't catch a quarterback in the NFL.
No, he doesn't need to. He just needs to sit in the middle like this, and everyone runs around him.
Last year and somehow defended 1 pass, but 283 snaps is about half of what your starting defensive lineman is putting up in a college season. 20 tackles isn't a lot either, but if you look back to that play where he just stood in the hole and the running back ran away from him, I would chalk that up as a stop. A defensive stop. Now, is he only playing half the time because he needs more rest due to his size, or because he's not as good as some of the other players at that position? I'm not really sure, but an NFL defensive coordinator who specializes in rotating his defensive line.
So what do you think? You think he's draftable?
He is completely draftable. And you may only use him on half the snaps. But on half those snaps, you ain't going to run his way. That's the Barkley stopper.
Well, so they actually not in the combine, but because he wasn't invited to the combine, but his pro day, he was actually listed at 6'5" in his pro day, but 464 pounds. And they talk about having him lose 30, 40 pounds. That's not happening. That dude, ever since he was born, he has never lost weight. Never lost weight. He's been gaining weight since birth.
It feels like me.
That dude is huge, man. Huge.
I would not want to, and he's athletic, so I would not want to run again. I would not want to run in the hole when he's sitting there. I would not want to do it. Nope.
Well, it'll be interesting. Let's have him here in football. It's like, let's have him as a player to watch, because I'm curious on what football team's going to take a flyer on this guy and how they're going to integrate him into a defense.
Someone should take him as a flyer, right, Coach? Right?
Someone should take him as a flyer? All right. Well, that will be our takeaway then. Someone should take this guy. All right. That's takeaway. Football psych, and we're out of here, baby.
There you go. Thank you.